Does it matter which side we go on?
It does not.
Okay.
All of these are okay, but that one's got me kind of stumped.
Do you want to start or do you want me to?
I'll start.
Okay.
Okay. So, why did you come to Dort, JC?
Well, it was kind of an easy decision. Obviously, strong emphasis, family emphasis here. Yeah, 'cause obviously you and Grandma worked here. So basically just my options were Dort, or Dort. But that was fine with me because I ended up, loving it here anyways on my visit. So this one you're gonna have to think back a little bit. So what is something you'd do differently if you went back to being a freshman?
I was a pretty good high school student, but I did not know how to study well when I got to college. So I struggled with how to write. In fact, my first paper I wrote for an English class, it came back and it didn't even have a grade on it. It said, "You better come and see me." I went, "Oh no." And I just didn't know how to write papers and how to put together a good presentation that way. So how do you think college has changed?
That's you.
Yeah, I know, but the social setting was so different because this was Vietnam. And back then, if you didn't go out, after graduation, if you didn't go on to college, you could still get a deferment to go to college. Otherwise, you were going
to fight.
You were going to get drafted.
Yeah.
So a lot of us, we admittedly went to college just to avoid the draft. But in our senior year, that all changed because we became the first lottery.
Right.
So I'll never forget that night when every person on this campus was glued to a TV because they were pulling your birthday out of and if you had a low number, you knew you were going to go, you were going to get drafted. My number was 139 and it was low enough. I knew what was going to happen. So all of a sudden in my senior year, this came up and now what are we going to do?
Yeah.
You know, Grandma and I were going to get married, but now what? So it was a social time, was very
different.
Yes. We made a choir tour through the East Coast, and we were in New York City the day before Martin Luther King was assassinated. And oh man, that was an eye-opener. Then the next day, we were traveling through Detroit City on our way home, and it was a ghost town. And all the buildings were guarded by National Guard because of the riots.
Yeah.
And they were trying to protect the windows and from being, the people going on. So very unsettled time.
Yeah.
Very unsettled time.
Where it's after college, you don't know if you're gonna go fight, where it's now like.
We didn't know.
Now you're just not knowing where you're going,
right.
Basically.
Yeah.
A little bit different.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I don't know. I think just obviously since I've been here, it's a university now. So that was a big change. And I'll be the first class to graduate from Dort University, so that's kind of cool. But that's also just like weird to think about because I think especially with our family being so involved in Dort College and like it was always, we were always decked out in Dort College stuff because Grandma worked at the bookstore. And so getting to be like at Dort College was like such this big thing. So that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
So I guess that's probably the biggest change since I've been here is just going from the college to university.
Yeah. To me now, when I look back over the last 50 years, there's some things that Dort has not changed too. And for someone like me, like I still see the same Christian emphasis in every class and in the programs here. And the mission of this college hasn't changed. And I hope that never changes.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what's going to make Dort stay strong.
Okay, so what is some advice you'd give about college?
Well, I think the first thing that pops into my mind is take advantage of of all the opportunities that are there. I see so many things happening here on this campus that I said, oh man, if that had been here when I was here, man. But I would also say really get to know your professors. A lot of times people think of when you're in a university, you don't have that kind of relationship with your professors. But I know that's not true here at Dordt. So how do you think, talking about, you know, preparing now, how do you think Dordt prepared you for it? You're about ready to graduate. So, yeah.
I've always just been very like, I love to talk, obviously. You know
Really?
that. And I love being with people and just doing all of that stuff. So I think once I got here and I saw, okay, you can actually kind of have that as a degree and communicate and learn how to do that well, is gonna kind of go with you wherever, no matter what you do in the future. So yeah, I think that was really helpful. And then obviously everything is faith-based and you kind of get to figure out, okay, now how does what I'm learning come from a faith-based, and like how do I apply that to my Christian walk of faith? I think that's probably been one of my favorite parts of just kind of getting to be here with people your own age and getting to explore faith and stuff.
Yeah, that's good. Glad to hear you say that.
What effect has Dordt had on your faith?
A lot. Yeah, you know, sometimes people will say to you, well, who are the 3 most influential people in your life? And I would have to say, a lot of times you'll say your dad or your grandpa, hopefully a grandpa. But I'll have to admit, the 3 most influential people in my life were all here at Dordt.
Yeah.
I was not sure what I wanted to do, which isn't, you know, is pretty typical probably, but I couldn't get, that's when I got to my lowest grades, and I'll be honest, I was fighting to keep a C average in my sophomore year, and that wasn't me.
Yeah.
I was a good student in high school, and so it just seemed like I was just kind of going around in circles. And professor got a hold of me. In fact, it was the choir director at the time, Mr. Dale Grote-Nice, finally at the end of his sophomore year. He got a hold of me, and we had a long talk. And it was a good one. He made me stop and really think about what I was doing, who I was, why I was here. So I think that yeah, I grew so much when I was here. And you probably don't realize, I think you maybe do realize it at the time, but later you realize it even more.
Yeah.
You know, and as I became a teacher, I wanted to be that person that hopefully I could impact other students too. So, yeah.
That was my last question. Do you have
Mine
one?
too, I'm finished.
Oh, okay. We're all done.